Started. Everybody survived the transport? Anyone? Okay, yeah. Don't shoot at me. Okay, today we got 3 topics we're going to go over. Financials, more detail of design of experiments for everybody so you can all see what we're doing, and then what?
Are we doing box making?
Box making is when Garrett gets here.
When Garrett gets here.
Okay.
He's not coming.
When Brian gets here.
Yeah, he's coming.
Okay.
Okay, so just a couple things to keep in mind. DT5 is due next week before class, and November 6th, this is a very important date. This is when we need all of the files that you need printed, laser cut, 3D printed, everything. So that's going to sneak up on you really fast. So today we're going to go over prototyping costs, production costs, MSRP, and NPV. Prototyping costs, your bill of materials. So what it is, it's a list of all the parts and components in order to make a complete product. The materials and manufacturing methods that you use for your finalized game, not your prototype. You're going to have a table that looks like this, and it's going to have your prototype game and all of the things you used and how much it costs, and also your finalized game so that you can compare the two. This is just something to keep in mind when you're going into beta is alternative designs. So this game right here, this is done with laser cutting, and they're both 3D games, but this one's laser cut and these two are both like casted, sculpted pieces. Anybody want to take a guess what that's going to do to your costs? Yeah, it's going to go way up. So we highly recommend, if you don't have to 3D print, it not only saves us money, but when you do your analysis, it's going to save you money when you analyze your final cost. So this is an Excel file that I'll put up after lecture, and we've gathered data from some very, very kind individuals who were willing to share their financials with us, and we basically came up with this Excel file that will spit out what your expected game cost is going to be. So I'll put this up, and it's a template. You basically just plug and chug through it, and it'll spit out your final value at the end. MSRP, so 139 rule. Anybody know someone who's bought a car, that sticker price? That is what this is. So 1 is your materials. It includes all of your raw materials, your purchase parts, and scrap. And then it's going to increase by 3 when you add in manufacturing. So it's going to include labor, assembly, related overhead, packaging, and shipping. And then you're going to multiply that by 3, and that's what's going to be your final sale price. Does that make sense to everyone? Kind of. So think of this as the cost of your game. Just keep that in mind. So how this all relates, when you get to the end of 382 and we have the evaluators come in, you're going to be sharing all this information with them. That's something they actually really want to know. And it also translates to capstone and then later on when you get into industry. So NPV is more like the business plan part of this. You don't necessarily have to go too in-depth with this in this class, but it's going to be really important when you get to capstone. This just takes into account the difference between cash inflows and outflows. Here's a table that we're going to put up. We'll get more into the business stuff when we start doing open labs in November. The business people will probably have to step away from the people who are putting together the game to really focus on numbers. So here's again the table that's going to be posted then. References. This is important when you are calculating your costs. We need to see where you got those numbers from. You can't make them up out of thin air. You have to have some validity behind your numbers. And again, is your game done? We're going to keep asking you this question throughout the rest of the semester. Most of you, hopefully, will be getting to beta today. If you want to stay on track, you should all be approved today to move on to beta. So just keep going through these questions. Make sure that you keep playing your game and have other people play your game. And just be honest with these. DOE
So how many people have not